Okay. There's Kim, hello. All right. Good deal. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, Eric, welcome. So glad to have you. Good deal. All right, well, welcome to Power Yoga, everybody. I'm so glad that you're all here. I'm so glad we get to share this practice. I'm grateful for the opportunity. As always, it's my pleasure to be able to guide us through yoga and to be able to do yoga together, to be here together. Good deal. We're going to start the seated position this morning. You can go ahead and start the playlist. The playlist is number 22 if you're following along on the Apple playlist, okay, that I created. And so we're going to start with a breathing exercise, and while we're doing that, then I'll just kind of set the tone for the morning. So from this seated position, get nice and tall, good tall posture here. We're going to start with some nasal breathing, or the Sanskrit word is Nadi Shodhana, Nadi Shodhana. So we're going to take our right hand and get our peace fingers and place our peace fingers right at the center of our brow. And we're going to use our thumb and our ring fingers to depress or release our nose. So we'll start with a cooling breath or a calming breath first. So we're going to take our thumb and depress our right nostril and then breathe in through our left nostril. Breathe in as deeply as we can. And then maybe a little pause at the top, and then depress that left nostril, release the right, and exhale as long as you can out that right nostril, and then hold for a little bit at the bottom. Okay, and then just keep doing that. Inhale left, and hold. Depress that left nostril, exhale right nostril, and hold. And keep doing that, keep doing that. I'm going to start talking a little bit. So the three words I'm going to key on today are comparison, judgment, and expectations. And so when we think about yoga, and when we think about just our life in general, if we let go of or free ourselves from comparison, judgment, or expectations, we create freedoms within ourselves on our mats, in our practice, and in our everyday lives that allow us to just experience life for what it is and where it's at. So if we want to seek out love, that is, in and of itself, the absence of judgment. Keep breathing left in and right out. Love is the absence of judgment. Think about all those opportunities we've had to judge ourselves, especially these last several weeks. And think about how that made ourselves feel, and maybe the conversations in our mind. Were those loving conversations, or were those critical conversations? Now when we think about comparison, whether we're on the mat, of course we can't see each other, but normally when we're in a room, you can see, well, that person can get their leg really high. Okay, but when we compare ourselves even to ourselves of a previous day or what we think we should be, it's kind of the thief of joy. It takes away from our joy. Anytime we engage or entertain comparison, we immediately put ourselves in a situation where we're better than someone else or worse than someone else, never at the same point where we're even. And so that creates a situation where it takes away from our own joy. And then when we set expectations, which means we predetermine an outcome. Keep breathing in into the left and out through the right. We predetermine an outcome. And if we do that, that allows the situation then to develop in terms of the way we have predisposed it to be versus maybe what it could have been. And so if we allow ourselves to become free of judgment, free of comparison, free of expectations, it allows ourselves to then be in the moment. And this breath allows us to find the calming nature of this moment and become more present, because it's really difficult and really a conscious effort to breathe this way. Now let's switch directions on that breath. Keep that right hand right there. Breathe in through the right nostril now. Depress that left nostril. And then exhale out the left nostril. So when we breathe in through the right and exhale through the left, it's a warming breath or an engaging breath. It's one that will bring a heightened sense of awareness, a heightened sense of energy. Okay, so if you're ever feeling anxious, start with the left and exhale to the right. If you're ever feeling kind of lackadaisical or sluggish, start with the right and exhale to the left. Give me 3 more just like that. Deepest inhales. So remember those 3 words in our practice when we get onto our mats: comparison, judgment, and expectations. There's no place for them on our mats. Just allow ourselves to be free and move and be exactly who we're meant to be on our mats. Very nice. Let's go ahead and find our mats now. We're going to start at a downward dog position. Downward dog position. So I'm going to come on back here. To get in downward dog, let's spread those fingers out, curl those toes, maybe find high plank to begin with, or if you're already in downward dog, stay right there. That's fine too. Get nice and long in that high plank if you're there, and then, without moving those hands or those feet, lift those hips nice and high, bring those ears between your arms, and let those arches relax as those heels fall towards the ground. And of course, those heels do not need to touch the ground. Once we get up there, we can begin alternating those heels, begin stretching those calves and heels and arches. Thinking about nice and strong arms, still a soft bend in those elbows, but strong arms, feeling the strength through the hands, through the wrists, through the forearms, and then thinking about the length of our spine, from the crown of our head to our tailbone. Lengthen that spine, and perhaps lift that tailbone just a little bit more as we draw those ears between those shoulder blades. Maybe a little rock side to side, bringing those hips to the edges of our mat to get a little stretch on the outside of those hips. Good. Now we're going to come back to that plank position. Come back to that plank position. Draw those shoulders either right above those wrists or slightly in front of those wrists. That's good for our shoulders to do. Yeah. Next time we press back to down dog, right hand is going to reach towards the left ankle, shin, or knee. Press it back and reach back. And then come back to plank position, and left hand reaches towards the right side, ankle, shin, or knee. Okay, now no need to touch those legs, no need to touch those limbs. You just point to the legs and just begin moving and adding pace. Okay, and as we add pace, we combine that movement with our breath. So as we press back, we exhale. As we come back to plank, we inhale. Good. In through the nose or the mouth. Now with that nasal breathing, it probably cleared up those sinuses a little bit. Yeah, keep going, down dog, and twist back, reach back. Good. All right. Now the next time you reach back with that right hand, take that right hand and latch onto the outside of that left knee or thigh. And just hold, and just hold. Stay right there, okay? Then take a peek under that left armpit and give a little bit of energy on that right hand and look under that armpit and up toward the ceiling to get a little bit deeper stretch on that left side. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Good. Come back to plank position, same thing, other side. Same thing, other side. Press back, left hand now to the outside of that right leg, that right knee or thigh, and then take a peek under that right armpit up toward the sky. And just look up and get a little bit deeper stretch into those ribs. Good. Let's come out of this inhale, back to plank, exhale back to down dog, and then step those feet forward 1 foot at a time. Exhale, bend those knees, and inhale, sweep up nice and tall, and exhale to heart center. Let's continue on with our sun salutation A's. I'm just going to stay facing the side here. You can stay on the front of your mat. Inhale up nice and tall, and exhale as we forward fold down. Nice long spine on the way down, and either use those shins, the ground, or that block as we bring those hands down. Good. All right. On our next inhale, we'll drape those hands across those shins, rest below those knees, and seek a nice long spine, crown of our head to our tailbone. Sit back into those heels, feel that stretch in through our hamstrings and our glutes, and even into our lower back. On our next exhale, set those hands down and step back to plank position. And then inhale, rock forward. Bring those shoulders in front of those fingertips. That opens up those shoulders, gets that humerus and clavicle away from each other. Good. From here, either stay on the knees or on the toes, or come to the knees or stay on the toes for a half push-up. So we exhale down and inhale and look up. And if we're still on our knees, that's cobra. And if we're on the shoelace side of our feet, knees up off the ground, that's upward facing dog. And then we exhale and lift our hips up as we curl our toes back to down dog, ears between those arms.
On the inhale, we look forward and step forward, sink into those legs. Exhale, and inhale, sweep up nice and tall, and exhale right back to heart center. Let's add some pace to that. Inhale, up, and exhale, and fold down. Inhale, up to flat back. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, come down. Inhale, look up, and exhale, face back down. In control, in your control, inhale, step, or even a little hop forward. Bend those knees, a little hop. Exhale into those knees and sweep those hands nice and tall, right back to heart center. Inhale, reach forward, and exhale, come on down. Inhale, up to flat back, and exhale, hands down, bring it back to plank. Rock forward, open those shoulders up. Exhale, half push-up. Inhale to upward or cobra. Your choice. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale, step or hop forward. Exhale to those knees and sweep up nice and tall, right back to heart center. We'll keep going. We got plenty more of these. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, up, flat back, and exhale, come on down, back to plank position. Rock and roll forward. Exhale, half push-up. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look down, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or hop forward. Exhale to those knees and sweep up nice and tall, right back to heart center. At least 3 or 4 more. Inhale, up, and exhale, down. Inhale, up to flat back. Exhale, bring it on back. Rock and roll forward as we come on down. Lift that head nice and high, cobra upward dog. Exhale, tailbone, way up into the sky, downward dog. Inhale, step or hop forward. Sink into those legs. Exhale and sweep, fill those lungs, right back to heart center. Keeping going. Inhale and reach forward. Exhale and hinge. Inhale up to a flat back, nice long spine. Exhale, bring it back. Keep that long spine. Inhale, rock forward and do your vinyasa flow. Remember, you can always go from plank right back to exhale, downward facing dog as well. Inhale, step or hop forward. Sink into those legs, sweep up nice and tall, and right back to heart center. Let's do 2 more as we inhale up, exhale down, inhale up to that flat back. Come on and step it back, plank position. Good. Rock and roll forward, exhale down, inhale, cobra upward dog, and press it back, double D, down dog. Bending those knees, step or hop forward, sink those legs, exhale, and fill those lungs as much as you can, right back to heart center again. One more time, inhale, reach forward, exhale, come on down, and inhale, flat back. Exhale, step it back to plank, rock and roll forward, there we go. Reach that head nice and high, and tailbone up to the sky. Good, good, good. I'm sorry. Let's find downward dog. You probably kept going. Let's find downward dog and hang out right there. I'm just guessing you kept going, because normally I give you a little bit of warning right there. From downward dog, let's come down to those knees and find all fours. All fours. Shoulders right above the hands, hips right above those knees. And we're going to start just rocking in circles. I'm going to face a little bit at an angle so you can see that. Okay, keep that nice structure right there. And just bring those hips a little bit closer to those heels and those shoulders in front of those fingertips. Still warming up through those hands and those wrists. Pick any direction on that circle and make that circle as big or as small as you want. Good. Let's switch sides or switch directions. Same deal. Same deal. You knew what I meant. You knew what I meant. Sides, directions, we got it. Okay. Now with this all fours position, toes can be curled or they can be on the shoelace side of your feet. It doesn't matter, but if you're doing this and you want to get a little stretch on those arches, maybe curl those toes. As we come to stillness, stay on the all fours and let's find cat and cow. I'm going to just go ahead and curl my toes initially here, just to get that stretch on my arches, see how it feels. Okay, so we're going to look up and bring our tailbone up, drop our belly down, inhale. And then exhale and look down. Bring the crown of our head down and roll our tailbone under towards the ground. Inhale as we look up, squeeze our shoulder blades together, get the length of our spine working together. And then exhale and round our spine as much as we can, lift it as high as we can toward the sky. Push those hands in and push those shoulders out through those arms into the ground. Inhale, look up, and exhale, look down. Good. Maybe about 3 more like that using your own breath. your own breath to guide the pace. Yes, it works those hips, but so much more thinking about those shoulders, thinking about those hands, and thinking about the total length of our spine, especially those muscles that border our spine, those erector spinae muscles that really focus on our stability. As we come to stillness, instead of those curled toes now, come to the shoelace side of your feet. Let's work a little bit of core right here. And so we're going to lift up our knees, pressing on the top sides of our feet. Just lift those knees lightly up off the ground and tap those knees down. Good. Continue to press through those shoulders, through those hands, shoulders moving forward towards those fingertips. Lift and release at your own pace. Inhale on the lift. Exhale as release down. Not only is it a good stretch on the front of those legs, but also a big time core engaging move. I bet you can feel that right there. Yeah? Good. All right. Give me 2 more. And last one. Good. All right. From here, let's lengthen those legs out. Let's find plank position. Let's find plank position. From plank position, let's draw those ears between those arms, right back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to float that right heel up toward the sky. Put a little bend in the knee and open the hip. Can't see that in the direction I'm showing you, but you can see the bottom of my foot pressing towards you. So you want to just imagine that you're pressing the bottom of the foot on the side wall behind you. Strong arms, one arm tends to get a little soft here. Just start then circling that right hip. Getting in through that hip and loosening up into that hip. Maybe other direction with that circle. Hanging on, hanging on. All right. And then just 2 knee pulls here as we draw that right knee towards our right elbow. Shoulders come above those hands. Exhale. Inhale that left heel back up. Do that one more time. Exhale. Knee and elbow. Inhale. Heel back up. And then exhale. Set that right foot to the front of our mat. Set that left foot right next to that right foot. Good. Let's find chair pose. Exhale or inhale up to chair pose. Thumbs up towards the sky. All right. Ooh, didn't think we'd be heading there, did you? All right, so here we are, chair pose. So I've got my feet separated, but you can also have your feet and knees together, pressing toward each other. Thumbs forward and hands forward, okay? Or you can be right at heart center if it bothers your shoulders. All right, I'm gonna turn back to the side, because we're gonna do more. Gonna do more. All right, from chair pose, we're gonna go to awkward chair, which means we're gonna lift our heels up, stay on the balls and toes of our feet. Squeezing those calves a little bit. A lot of balance going on here. A lot of balance going on here. Staying into those legs and breathing through this. All right, hang on. Now let's try and keep those heels up off the ground. You can have them down as optional as well as we lift up to mountain pose. Reaching way up nice and high. Way up nice and high. Inhale. Fill those lungs. And exhale. Right back to heart center, set those heels down. From here, warrior 1, right foot forward, step the left foot back. Good. I'm going to face you in that warrior 1, right foot forward, left foot back. Both heel to toes on the ground on both feet, left foot pointing out at an angle to the left side, knee towards our pinky toe on that right side. Hips coming forward but not squaring up, shoulders squared up, and arms can be up, shoulders rolled down away from the ears. Can also have those hands at heart center if this bothers your shoulders. Awesome. Sink in, play with the depth of this warrior 1, so much so that we're listening to the sensation on our left hip, down the front of that quad. It's not bothering our knee or our ankle, and we feel our pinky toe on that left foot touching the floor. Good stuff right there, yeah? So much body awareness happening right here from our fingertips back to our pinky toes, right? Good. Take a nice inhale and then exhale. Set those hands down. Press back to plank position. Give me a vinyasa flow. And let's meet back in downward facing dog. From that downward facing dog, float That left heel up toward the sky. Bend that knee and open the hip. Pressing that foot as if we're trying to set it on the side wall. And begin circling that left hip. Circling that left hip. Good. Circle the other direction. Nice. And then 2 knee pulls. Exhale, left knee towards left elbow. Shoulders come back to plank position on that. Inhale, that left heel up. One more time. Exhale, knee to elbow. No need to touch. Inhale, back up. Exhale, set that left foot forward towards the front of the mat. Walk that right foot forward, front of the mat. Chair pose. Inhale, thumbs up toward the sky. Good. Can also be at heart center. Again, feet and knees together or separated, totally up to you. Okay, all right. I'm gonna turn to the side, just so you can see that. Back to chair pose. Now, the first time I had my feet and knees together, this time I'm gonna separate them to see if that makes any difference on how it feels for me, okay? It's all an experiment, right? That's why we call it practice. Good, back to that awkward chair. Back to that awkward chair. Lift the heels up onto the ball and toes of those feet. Whew. Lots of strength building right there. Getting those legs working, a lot of balance. I almost fell over. Okay. Less talky, more balance. Okay. All right. Staying on those heels. Inhale all the way up, mountain pose. Mountain pose. Find it. Reach. And then exhale back to heart center. We can set those heels down. Finding warrior one now. Left foot forward, right foot back. Perfect. All right. So again, knees to toes, both heels to toes on the ground, including that right foot pointing to the right side. Square up just a little bit through those shoulders. Bring those hips forward, but listen to that back knee, ankle, foot, and hip. Breathe. All right. Very nice. Sink it in to that warrior one. Play around with that depth. We're just holding, and breathing. That's what we got. Take a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, frame up that front foot, step back to plank position, vinyasa flow, and meet back in downward facing dog. From downward dog, and drop to those knees and find all fours. Find all fours. Shoulders over hands, hips over those knees. I'm going to turn at an angle just a little bit. And from here, we're going to just rock our hips side to side. Moving our tailbone side to side. I call it wag the tail for obvious reasons. Okay? And as we move to the right, we look over the right shoulder. And as we move to the left, look over the left shoulder and feel that squeeze between those ribs and hips on the side of our body. It's a core exercise right there. It's a core exercise, strengthening those external obliques. Okay, give me 2 more in either direction. There we go. All right. Come to stillness. I'll stay right at this angle, spinal balance. Right hand forward, thumb up toward the sky. Reach as far forward as you can. With that left heel, press it back. Press it back. It can also be the toes, it doesn't matter. We're trying to keep our hips and shoulders square to the mat or the floor beneath us as best we can. And then focus on the length, fingertip to our foot, whichever direction we have it. Good. Let's exhale, that right hand down, left knee. Same thing, other side. Inhale, left hand and right heel. And just hold and square up. So much core strength and stability here. Okay, it may not feel like the toughest move, but it's one of the most engaging core moves that we have. You know, when we go to like physical therapy and working on our back alignment and hip alignment and things like that, this is one that helps get our back feeling really good, because it's not just focusing on our front core, it's focusing on our back abs as well. And it's really important to do. Exhale, left and right down, and then let's flow through this. Inhale, right and left. Exhale as we come down. Inhale, left and right. And then exhale as we come down. Continue to reach, and extend. And then focus on the height. Thumbs a little bit higher, heels a little bit more. Feel it into your lower back and squeeze those glutes as we lift those legs a little bit higher. Excellent. Good. Next time we find that right hand and that left heel back, hold it right there. Sunbirds, let's tap that right hand to left knee. Exhale, meet at our midline, inhale, and extend back out. 4 more times. Exhale and inhale. Using that breath to guide your pace. When you've done a total of 5 there, we'll switch sides, left hand, right heel. Inhale, and then exhale, meet at the midline. A little tap of that left hand to right knee. Total of 5 right there. Very nice. When you're done from all 4s, let's press back to that plank position and then downward facing dog. All right. From downward dog, float that right heel up toward the sky. Go and bring that right foot forward to the front of our mat between those hands, gluing that left foot down. Find warrior 1. Find warrior 1. I'm just going to stay facing this direction. Stay facing this direction. Okay? All right. Again, feeling both feet on the ground. I can feel my left pinky toe lift up just slightly there, so I want to drive into the outer edge of that left foot. Okay? And then just see that this right knee is hovering above that ankle. So we make the shifts into new postures on the exhale. So we'll breathe in nice and tall, and then exhale, warrior 2. Front foot and knee stay right where they're at. Left foot points to the left side, and then arms out nice and long. There we go, without locking those elbows. Ears over shoulders over hips, and not leaning forward or back. Good, solid, strong warrior 2 posture here. All right. Whew. From here, we're going to find a reverse warrior. So we'll exhale, flip that front hand, inhale, and lift that front hand to the sky. Trying to initially focus on the length from our fingertips to the front side of our body, through those ribs, and down to the hip. Keeping that front knee bent. It didn't move at all. That leg didn't move, and that back leg didn't move either. But one thing that may have changed is a little bit of muscle squeeze on that left glute to press our hips a little bit forward towards the left side. So get a little bit of stretching down below, stretching on the back, and strength on those legs. Hand can be on the leg or behind our back. Keeping that right hand right there, we're going to lengthen that front leg, a little mercy on that front leg, create that triangle shape with our legs as we reach a little bit higher. Breathe in, and then arms to warrior 2, exhale, and reach as far as you can as your hips go to the back of the room. Exhale, exhale, exhale. When you go no further, then we tip over. It's all we do to get the triangle pose. Look what my arms do. Did anything else move on my body? Not at all. Not at all. So my right hand is on my leg, above or below my knee. It can also be on that block if I want just a little bit more depth right here in triangle pose. Just stacking through my shoulders, lifting my heart up just a little bit more to the sky, trying to make sure it's not pointing down towards the ground. So we bring it up and we lift it up. That helps us get a nice gentle stretch down below through our adductors, the inside part of our legs, and a nice stretch up top on that left side of our body. Good. All right, from here, we're just going to simply bend that knee into right angle pose. So just a little bend into right angle. Either that hand stays down below that knee, or you can put that right forearm on top of the right leg. Okay? So if you want a little bit more depth, go and reach in, get that depth, okay? Just make sure it feels right for you, and that adjustment on our shoulders, or alignment on our shoulders, didn't change at all. Didn't come down by reaching down, okay? Everything stayed quiet. The only thing we did was bend that knee, okay? All right, so at that top hand, we can bring that bicep overhead to our ear and extend that right angle to create as much length as we can from our fingertips to our back heel. Excellent. Good. We're in control. We are breathing freely. Not worried about what this looks like, or we're only worried about what it feels like. Good. Let's bring that top hand around and down. Let's frame up, press back to plank, vinyasa flow, and we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Let's switch the other direction. Okay. Little vinyasa flow. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, come down. Inhale, look up and back to downward dog. Good. From here, left heel floats up nice and high. Three-legged dog into the sky. Go ahead and exhale. Bring that left foot through. Set it between those hands. Gluing that right heel down on the ground. Find warrior one this side. Whew. Okay. All right. Nice deep warrior one posture right here. Again, trying to see that knee or feel that knee hovering above the ankle. Back foot to the ground. Yeah, feeling good, feeling good. Again, the adjustments on the exhales. Front knee stays right where it's at, toes right where it's at, back foot points out just a little bit. Exhale, open up, warrior two. There we are. Good. Good, strong warrior two posture here. Sink into that knee, make sure it's still pointing towards our pinky toes and not caving in. A lot of times with warrior two, that knee will just it'll fall in. We'll let that knee fall in a little bit. And that puts a lot of stress on the inside part of our knee, okay? A lot of stress where over time, it's not gonna feel so hot. It's not gonna feel so hot. So let's find that reverse warrior. Exhale, flip that front hand. Inhale, lift that front hand. Everything else stays quiet as we just reach nice and high. Focusing on the extent in which we're reaching up toward the sky and not behind us. Back hand again on the leg or tailbone, are wrapped around our waist. And then we again just adjust those legs a little bit, squeeze those right glute muscles, pressing those hips forward and keeping that alignment nice and strong. Excellent. Good stretch across the front, stretch across that backside, and strength happening all over the place. And go ahead and get a little mercy on that front leg. Inhale, reach higher with that left hand. Keep it right there. Good. Fill those lungs on that inhale. And on the exhale, reach forward, hinge, hinge as far as you can go. And then when we can go no further, boom, tip over, triangle pose. Still a soft bend in that knee, okay? To see my knee, there's no interaction. I can move my kneecap around, okay? I'm not like fighting it, okay? I'm just completely relaxed right there. It's a soft bend in that knee. There's really little engagement on the joint. It's all in the muscles, okay? So when you hear me talk about let's keep the stress off the joints, my knee joint's not even engaged right now, okay? It could be if I was flexing everything and locking everything out. Certainly could be, right? Okay, you can also use that block if you want. We're gonna move to right angle pose. Simply by bending that left knee towards those toes, get a little bit deeper into that right angle. Hand can be into the inside all the way down, or that left forearm on top of that left leg. Backhand, right hand overhead if you want to extend that right angle pose, and get that nice long line from our fingertips back to our heels. Good. So as we bring that right hand all the way down, circle it down and come back to plank position, we're going to find all fours. We're going to find all fours. And I'm going to face right back to you. From all fours, kneeling side plank. We're going to tip our left toes out like a kickstand and lengthen our right leg. Reach our right hand up toward the sky. I'll turn to the side in a moment. Okay, there we go. So that right foot stays completely on the ground. Gluing it down, staying on that left knee, pressing our hips forward so we're not sitting back into it. So keeping that core engaged, and then take that top hand, that right hand, reach overhead, extend. Reach overhead and extend. Now, if you want a little extra right here, take that right hand and reach back onto that bent right leg, top of that foot or ankle, and bind onto that leg. Then press your hips forward, so much so that you have a straight line from your shoulder down to your hip and down to your knee. At least it feels that way, especially if you can't see it. Okay? All right. Now, let's exhale and release that. Come back to all fours. Same thing, other side. Tip the right toes out, lengthen that left leg, and reach that left hand up toward the sky. Good, facing the left side. Yeah, if it's comfortable, reach overhead, bicep to that ear, and I'm going to turn to the side just so we can see that. Excellent. All right. And then a little optional, bind onto that knee, bend that knee onto that ankle or top of our foot, left hand to left leg, press those hips forward, and again trying to just feel that straight line, shoulders, hips, and knees work in conjunction with each other. All right. So we've done the kneeling side planks. We're going to come out of this to all fours. You're welcome. I showed the kneeling side planks first because you're welcome to keep doing those side to side, or we can go from plank position and hit side plank. So let's come out to plank position, and then hit side plank. Come to the pinky toe and big toe side of those feet, the blades and edges, left hand down, right hand to the sky, face the right side. And hold, keep those hips up. Again, that left knee can be down. That left knee can be down. Breathing through this and holding through this. Good. So we're going to exhale and come back to plank into the left side. And then just reach. And reach. And hold. Building up that core strength, getting our body just a little bit stronger. Hold and breathe. You're welcome to lift that back leg. 5-pointed star. Okay. Let's come back to plank. And then go back to side plank again, right hand to the sky. Now this time, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to bring that right foot, that top leg, and we're going to bring it forward and find runner's lunge. So just walk that top leg forward, and then find runner's lunge, setting that back knee down on the ground. Good. All right. That's how we do it. Knee down into that back leg. Now, we're going to open up here, so left hand's going to stay on the ground. We're going to put a bend in that left knee. I better turn to the side to show you this. A little bend in that left knee. I'm going to reach back with my right hand, opening up my right hip so I can reach back, right hand to the top of that left foot. And then press that foot into the hand, or pull that hand into the foot, quad stretch or heart opener, or both. Okay, I'm seeing the view that you're seeing. That's pretty good. That's a good view. All right. Little bit of a heart opener right there. Big time stretch. Now if you're unable to do this, of course, there's nothing wrong with you. No comparison of what I'm able to do versus what you're able to do. We're all different people, right? Go ahead, exhale, come back, stay on those knees. Stay on that back knee, and then let's lift our hands up right on top of our right leg, okay? A little bit lean forward so our hips are in front of that back knee. Takes a little stress off that knee, maybe shoelace side of that left foot. Okay, a little external rotation now. So bring our hands to prayer and press them forward. And with our right hand only, we're going to open up to the right side. Inhale. And then exhale, bring those hands together like we're clapping them together. Do that 4 more times. Inhale, rotation, and exhale, right back, front and center. Okay, 3 more. Excellent. And then 2 more. Good, finishing up with that last one. Awesome. We'll bring those hands forward, curl those toes up off that back knee. Okay, I'm going to turn to this side so you can see this. We're gonna just launch and lean into Warrior 3. So curl those toes and begin leaning forward. Lean forward, pressing forward, lifting that back heel up, and then lifting up off the ground as we lengthen. Hands can stay at heart center. Hands back by those hips or forward. Thumbs up toward the sky. Find Warrior 3. Breathing through this as we keep our hips and shoulders square to the ground. Our breath free flowing, which means our body's in the right position if our breath is engaged the right way. They're all connected. When we come out of this, we're going to come into crescent pose but leaning forward. So back heels up off the ground, lean forward into those hands back. And with our thumbs up toward the sky, we're going to inhale and lift up. And then exhale back down. Do that 4 more times. Exhale and inhale. Good. Exhale and inhale. I'm going to turn to the front so you can continue to see where we're heading next as we add a twist. Okay, when you're done with a total of 5 there, we're going to finish in that leaned forward, or I call flight position. Lean forward or flight, and think about the length of your spine from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Hands to heart center, left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Press those hands together. Push those hands together into the outside of that leg. So much so that we're still keeping the length of our spine nice and long, crown of our head to our tailbone, but we're feeling that dynamic tension of that elbow pressing to the outside of the leg, and maybe even a stretch on the outside of our right hip and glute. Whew. All right. Feeling something, right? That's right. Good stuff. Good stuff. As we exhale, back to center, set those hands down. Press back to plank, side planks. Side planks. Left hand this time. Reaches up nice and high, find that side plank. Now we can either just do normal side plank, kneeling side plank. You can take that top leg, bring it behind you, foot flat on the floor. Lift those hips and heart up to the sky for a wild thing. Hey, let me show you a side view of that. Okay. Side view of that. Of course, if you're upside down, it really doesn't matter what you're seeing. Okay. We'll go back to side plank, right side. Right side. And again, if you want, wild thing, five-pointed star, wherever you want to find your side planks. Awesome. Finishing back to plank and then side plank left side. Just a normal side plank. Normal side plank is when we're going to take that left leg and bring it forward, finding runner's lunge. Bring it forward, find runner's lunge. Back knee down, right knee down, shoelace side of that foot. Okay? Now going towards that bind a little bit. Right hand stays on the ground. Left hip opens up. And that left hand's going to reach back as I bend that right knee and reach back for that right foot. Now you can cheat it. I'm cheating as I grab onto it. Okay? And find that spot. And then allow myself to just adjust and play around with the depth of this stretch. Good. I'm not overdoing it, and you're not overdoing it either. We're just trying to find just a good gentle stretch here. Nothing, not something that just is pushing our body to the brink. Okay, so trying to just avoid overdoing it. Excellent. Let's release out of here. Refine that runner's lunge. Stay on the knee. The hip on the right side is in front of the knee. Again, taking the stress off, shoelace side of the leg. Walk those hands on top of our quad, just initially, just for some support. External rotation on the left side, hands to prayer. And then open that left hand, inhale, turn to the left and exhale, right back to center. 4 more times. Inhale and exhale. Good. All right. Inhale and exhale. Whew. All right. Engaging. Working our bodies, but working them without comparison, without expectation, without judgment, and working them gently. Gently. Good. As we're done with 5 right there, we're going to bring those hands to the instep, curl those toes, and then lengthen that back leg as we launch up into that warrior 3. So how do we do that? We lean forward first. Lean forward first, then lengthen, and then lift. Good. Finding that warrior 3. Again, hands forward, heart center, or back by those hips. Few more moments right here. And then we're going to gently set that left foot on, or that right foot on the ground, crescent pose, leaning forward into this. Back heel up off the ground, lean into it. Try to kick that block away. Good. Thumbs up toward the sky as we inhale up nice and high. A little arch in our lower back. Exhale, lean back into it. Inhale. And exhale. Good. 3 more. In. And out. Nice. And I'm going to turn and face you. Turn and face you. All right. Last time. Lean into it. Focus on the length, crown of our head to our tailbone. Bring those hands together. Prayer hands, right elbow to the outside of that left. Push those hands together back to our heart center. Strong arms, strong elbows. We can always reduce the range of motion too. Okay, so again, engaging rotating, keeping that length. Feel maybe that stretch on the outside of that left hip now. All right. Breathing through. Breathing through. Okay. Good stuff right here. As we exhale, come back to center, and then just step back to plank and find all fours. Find all fours. I don't want that block back now. I don't want that block back now. Okay, so from all fours, we're going to find hero's pose. Hero's pose. Let's initially find hero's pose by finding child's pose feet. Okay, so child's pose feet. You can see I'm turning my feet in, my knees are out a little bit wider, and you can just press back. Okay? And then from hero's pose, we can just walk those hands back and sit on those heels. Sit on those heels, okay? If that's not too comfortable, take that block or whatever pillow you got and just kind of sit on that. And then we can adjust and play around with bringing those knees a little bit more closer in. Okay, so I'm on the shoelace side of my feet. That's how I got into child's pose. I'm going to stay to the side and just show you that. Good. And then we're going to surrender into this. Inhale up, steeple fingers, and breathe. So this pose can be a little bit not the favorites, okay? It can be a little bit agonizing. Right, so you might feel that. You might be expressing that right now. Good thing I can't hear you. But over time, this used to be a very agonizing pose for me, but over time, as I just practice it over and over again, it's something that just feels really, really good now. Really good. All right, we're going to just stay on the knees, on the shoelace side of those feet initially, and we're going to find camel. So lean forward, lengthen those legs, then curl those toes. Okay, and from camel, we're going to keep the shoulders above the hips, above the knees. Take those hands into fists and set them right into our tailbone. Okay, with our elbows, draw our elbows back, squeezing our shoulder blades together and our elbows toward each other like we're trying to touch them together. Okay, already you can see my shoulders rolling down and away from my ears. And that arch already starting to happen. So once I start getting there, then think about that rainbow shape from the crown of your head through your hips. We're trying to keep our hips forward, just hovering above our knees. Then we can lean back as we push our hands into our tailbone. Okay, pressing our belly button forward and leaning back and lifting our heart to the sky. Now some of you may reach back, one hand onto the heel, other hand onto the heel, and then just lift the heart even more. Still keeping those hips in good alignment. Great stretch up top. Breathing through this. To come out, we'll reach one hand forward and the other hand forward. From this position, just walk the right foot forward and then across the front of our mats as we find pigeon pose. So half pigeon. Okay, so our right ankle's across on the left side of the mat, and the knee stays on the right side. That left leg comes straight back, shoelace side of that foot, and that foot's about 6 o'clock, straight behind me. Then we can exhale down, support our head with our fists, support our head with our blocker if we have a pillow, whatever block substance we have. Okay, we can also fill in that space between our right glute and the mat with that block, so we can keep our hips square to the mat that's beneath us, or the ground beneath us. I'm going to turn to the side just a little bit. So pigeon's often a pose where we settle in. It's often a pose where we try to ease back. We're not trying to jam in. Okay? And it's one where we connect with the breath and allow the breath to help us to get deeper into the pose. So you'll notice on your inhales, you might lift a little bit. You may not feel as much sensation. But on your exhales,
you can sink in a little bit more and you settle into those hips. You settle in just a little bit more in those exhales. You sink in more. Because on our exhales, our body is naturally releasing tension. It's naturally releasing tension. And so whatever tension might be holding on to those hips right there and preventing us from perhaps feeling a little bit more gets released on the exhales. So really cherish those exhales in this pose. Just allow you to kind of just settle in. Take about 3 more breaths right here. And then when we're ready, we'll press back to all fours. Press back to all fours. And from all fours, take that right hip and just circle that hip a little bit, just to loosen it up. All right. And we'll get in the pigeon pose the same way we got into the other side. So we'll just step that left foot forward. Just step that left foot forward. And then we'll just kind of start heel to toe that foot across the mats and find that pigeon on the left leg. Pigeon on the left leg. Okay. Again, thinking about that right leg, 6 o'clock behind us. Play around with that right leg. Okay, if you're not feeling a whole lot, or you just want to experiment with maybe feeling a little bit more, walk that right leg towards your left side. Okay? Play around with that feeling, moving those legs toward each other, so to speak. Allowing ourselves to breathe. Now you might notice that one side's a little tighter or looser. Oftentimes we think they should be the same, or we set expectations that, well, if I'm able to do something on one side, I should be able to do the same thing on the other side. And so what this teaches us on the mat is just take what we're given. Take what we're given and find gratitude for where we're at. Okay, this side is a lot more tight than my other side. So if I was predetermining my outcome, setting expectations, or, so to speak, drawing comparison, and letting that comparison overrule, as opposed to just accepting it for where it's at. Accepting it for where it's at. There's a saying related to comparison that says, a candle doesn't lose anything by lighting another candle. And I think that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't lose anything. Okay? And so, keeping the judgment and comparison out and just seeking to enlighten other people. Let's take 2 more breaths right here. All right. Back to all fours whenever you're ready. And then we'll take that left hip and we'll circle that hip. All right. Good. We're going to eventually find our way onto our backs. If you have that block, go ahead and just have it nearby. Okay. All right. So we can interlock our ankles, grab behind those knees, roll on to our backs. Feet flat on the floor. About hip distance apart, knees hip distance apart, bridge pose, hands to the side of those hips as we inhale and lift those hips up to the sky and hold. Focusing on squeezing into our lower back, driving through our lower back to lift our belly button. So there's a little string on our belly button lifting us up. Keeping those knees toward each other in good alignment with those hips and with those ankles and feet. Exhale, release down. Let's do one more version of this. We'll do 2 more versions of this. 2 more versions. Okay, first version, we're going to lift up and then we're going to interlock those hands under our hips. So walk those hands underneath your tailbone, interlock those fingers and walk those shoulder blades together. Okay, that just lifts that heart just a little bit higher, allows you to lift your hips a little bit higher. Whew, there
There we go. So you might even feel now a stretch across the top of your quads and the front side of our body, as well as the back side and into our lower back. Exhale and release on down. Now this third version is a bit more challenging depending on your mobility. One of the first two versions might work for you. Or on this one, we're going to interlock onto the ankles. Grab onto those ankles with those hands and then get into bridge position hanging on to those ankles. Locking the shoulders in, knees and hips and feet still in that good alignment and holding on to those ankles. So that's a different way to do it. Nice. And then we'll exhale and release on down. Let's get a little rotation and some twist action right here. Draw our knees to our chest just to offset the arch in our lower back. Hanging on to that right knee, lengthen that left leg all the way out, setting that left heel to the ground. Take that left hand, drape it across your right leg, pull it across your body, and then extend your right hand. Look at that right hand away from the direction your right leg's going. And then use your breath to feel more sensation here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink in to the hips and the lower back. On those exhales too, you might feel a little snap, crackle, and pop. You might feel some Rice Krispies in your spine. There's nothing wrong with that. Unless it feels wrong, then there's something wrong with that. But if it feels okay, then there's nothing wrong with that. Two more breaths right here. And then on to the other side. Come back to center, knees to chest yet again. Just to loosen up that lower back. This time hang on to the left leg, lengthen that right heel all the way down to the ground. Right hand drapes across that left, pull that left across your body. Good, extend that left arm out to the side, look at that left hand away from the direction your leg's going. And again, stretch with your breath. Stretch with your breath. On the exhales, feel that sensation even more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften and release. And we'll take two more breaths. Good. As we exhale, come back to center, knees to our chest, and give those knees a little bit of a squeeze. Flex those arms around those legs, squeeze those knees to your chest. Hang on, hang on, hang on, and squeeze just a little bit harder. Give yourself even more of a hug. See how strong you really are. Keep holding, and hold on for 5 and 4 and 3, 2, and then release and sprawl out. Let's find final relaxation, Shavasana. Arms to the side, palms up. Let those feet drape open and find the most relaxing position you can on the ground or on the mat where you're at right now. We dim the lights real quick and I'll continue to guide us into Shavasana. So as we find that final relaxation, Shavasana pose, just allow your body to feel 100% committed to where you're at, relaxed and released on that surface below you. Allow yourself to release any tension that you might be hanging on to, any muscular tension through those shoulders, through those glutes, those calves and those feet, and then the palms of our hands. Just relax and release. Allow your face to become expressionless as we relax our jaw, and as we relax our eyelids and our eyes to simply close our eyes. The Shavasana song is Lost Without You, about 5th from the bottom of my playlist if you're following along. But there's plenty good choices there as well. So as we find this Shavasana, we find the restful states of our practice. We
and creates this opportunity where we can settle down, to where we can find stillness of our body, which allows us to find those still moments within our minds. As we find that stillness, we get a chance then to feel the entire sensation from the crown of our head to the tips of our toes. Every part of our body has been interacting together today. Every part of our body has been touched. And it's been touched without judgment, it's been touched without comparison and without expectations. In effect, we've allowed ourselves to just move freely, to have that freedom on our mats, that freedom to make the choices about how we find the postures, the choices in terms of how we engage, and those choices in terms of the ultimate outcome of what we feel. So each one of us has engaged in an experience that's been designed uniquely for us because we allowed ourselves to have that unique freedom on our mats. A couple more breaths right here. As we settle our bodies, as we find the appreciation for our own practice, for the appreciation for this investment of self-care, this investment of time for ourselves. We're feeling the benefits and the rewards right now. Oftentimes we find where we have to do the opposite of what we think we should be doing. And sometimes with comparison, with judgment and expectation, sometimes we feel like we should be setting those things. We should be setting perhaps goals or expectations or things. It's okay to do that, but to gauge our joy and happiness upon that. But there's other things to where sometimes we think about the opposite thing and get the other benefits. Sometimes we need to recognize sadness in order to know what happiness is like. Or we need noise and chatter and chattiness around us in order to appreciate silence. And of course, during this time, the awareness of absence to find the value of presence, the value of presence. The value of relationships, the value of people, connections, and our social interactions. And that is our closing message for today. I honor the love and light in each of you, as it's also within me. Namaste.